see when they were marketing EarthBound why this game really stinks. Because we have to go through a sewer. Welcome to part 31 of Let's Play EarthBound. My name is EarthBound12 and I'll be your host. And in this episode we're going to be going through the Fourside sewers and eventually going to our 5th Your Sanctuary location, Magnet Hill. Don't actually know what we will call this. We'll call it the sewers because it just makes more sense than Magnet Hill. It has nothing to do with magnets or hill sewers, so makes little sense to me at all. This is the deadly mouse. These things can poison you. Take care when doing that. They can also do smash attacks quite frequently from what I've noticed, as you can clearly see there. And fortunately Jeff survived, which was a good thing because otherwise he'd be dead and that wouldn't be very nice at all. As a matter of fact, death is very imminent in this place. I actually find this place to be quite hard. Just simply because of a lot of difficult enemies and maybe that, or maybe I'm a bit under-leveled, I don't know. So anyway, we might as well go ahead and heal Jeff if he's poisoned because that will be problematic in the future if he is to die. Which he actually eventually does because of stupidness on my part. Anyway, if you go to the left, you'll find a cross sandwich. I didn't really find that it was worth going to because I don't really use food items when I actually have some halfway decent healing spells. And there is an opportunity for us to go ahead and heal our PP later on in this dungeon, so it wasn't really much point in me going and getting the croissant. Or cross sandwich, whatever you call it. But a big thing in this dungeon is just moving through the slush and rat-infested sewers, and there's some more rats. Where was I? I was saying about healing opportunities. Jeff got absolutely raped there by the PSI healing thing. As you can see, the sewers are full of rats and, I guess, ninja turtles and other crap like that. Feces. Other fecal matter. There's a broken spray can in there. I thought that was the room with the broken bazooka. It turned out not to be that. We'll get into that when we actually find the broken bazooka, but if you make sure you get that item, if one thing in this dungeon you get, it's that. I'll go into it in more detail when we actually get it, but now we go through to the next room. You can go across the sides of the sewers, I suppose, if you want, but you'll find yourselves at roadblocks, and it's pretty much mandatory. We have to trudge through this little slurry of crap and shit and feces, and I'm going to take a sip of my Coke. And coming through here, this is a cockroach, I think. Yes, it is. These things are really they're real pains in the ass to attack. Also, they'll do that, those continuous attacks, which will do a very, very hefty amount of damage onto your HP, so make sure you keep it up well above the 150 mark. Ness isn't too bad because he generally has a pretty high HP stat, so if it hits anyone that hits Ness, I wouldn't worry too much. With the other two, I'd get a little bit. Other three, sorry. I'm not used to Pooh being in the party yet. He's still a bit new. And also, I want to show off, but I don't do it in this episode. I want to show off what happens when you put armor that isn't the armor of kings or the sword of kings on Pooh. Essentially, what will happen is the offense or defense stat regarding the weapon or armor will go down to 1. So make sure you only use the items of kings, or with the suffix of kings. But anyway, here's a butterfly room. These magic butterflies, as we know, are a good way to restore our PP and regenerate our PP. It took me a little bit of time to go ahead and heal up properly because I wanted to make sure everyone was perfectly healed up, even though it was a bit of a waste of my PP. And I ended up wasting it a little bit later on, but anyway, I don't think you want to see me doing this over and over again. I have shown this thing off a few times before anyway, so I'll skip to when we finish doing that. Okay, we're back, and we've run into an attack roach. That was a bit of a waste of time skipping, but oh well, might as well leave this in then, seeing as I'm talking through it. As you can see, these attack roaches are very, very difficult to hit, and it gets really annoying. Especially when they aren't hitting you. Unfortunately, Paula got a really nice smash attack in there, which did over 330 damage. And Paula's now level 35, some decent stat increases. I just scroll through those pretty quickly. And Now we're going to head on into the next room of the dungeon, which I think is the last room of the dungeon. This place isn't actually very long at all, if you ask me, but it is kind of difficult. As you can see, there's the little shiny Your Sanctuary thingamabob, and we're going to have to fight a roach. Pooh died there, but fortunately for us, we had a couple of cups of life noodles. I had one in Jeff's inventory, and I had one in Pooh's inventory from earlier. These things can really come in handy in a pinch. Especially when you're like me and you find yourself dead a lot, and that continuous attack is a pain in the ass, if I haven't said that enough already today. So let's go ahead and heal up Pooh, because he's dead, and I don't want him to be dead anymore, because his PSI free spells are very valuable. Really, at this point of the game, Pooh's melee attacks, or if you want to call it a melee attack, are pretty much useless. And there was a broken spray can, and we got the broken bazooka, which is a very valuable item you want to give to Jeff. This thing will work as an unlimited supply of heavy bombs, which come in very handy as weapons. So, you know, Jeff can use bottle rockets, bombs, and all that good stuff. And this thing is a very valuable item to have, and if it's just one item you get from this dungeon, make sure it's this one, because this is very valuable. Yeah, that fight didn't go too well. Both Paula and Jeff died, and I only had one cup of life noodles left, so I chose to revive Paula because I thought her free spells would be far more valuable than what Jeff could do. And also I didn't have any multi-bottle, they are the multi-bottle rockets, right? Or whatever it was, the big bottle rockets. Getting mixed up. It can do a lot of damage on the Plague Rat of Doom, the next Your Sanctuary boss. So I thought, you know, Paula's free spell's more valuable, and I've said that enough already, and we're gonna have to fight this rat before we get to the boss. I tried to run away there, but to no avail. Oh, luckily that life up came in the last minute. Pooh almost died as well. It was on like one hit point left when I actually managed to excuse that whole bit there. I had to do something, I can't remember what it was. This is the 5th Your Sanctuary location, and we're gonna have to fight this boss. The Plague Rat of Doom, this thing is a pain in the ass to fight. Essentially, I'll just say, just use the most powerful freeze, or LPing, Love, Rock, and whatever the fuck you want to call it spell. And just pretty much go berserk. Try to keep your health up pretty high, because he will really wreck you as well. He's a very dangerous boss. I think he's probably the hardest of the Your Sanctuary bosses in my opinion, but that was also because I was fairly underleveled. He can also poison you, which isn't very fun at all. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. It's pretty much the only real strategy that will work. So we just keep firing away at the Plague Rat of Doom. And I guess while I have some time, another thing I mentioned when I was actually recording this, if you listen closely to the actual dungeon theme, not the music we are actually listening to now, it sounds like they sort of rip a couple of bars out of the 007 soundtrack. It sort of sounds like doo 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 doo. It has a few bars from that I've noticed. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but I do know that EarthBound makes a lot of pop culture references, and it was sort of somewhat of a reason that Mother 3 didn't get released in English. The other reason was also the transvestites, I guess. And certain other things, a lot of music, a lot of copyrighted music in Mother 3 is used in their soundtrack, but we're not playing Mother 3, we're playing EarthBound. Another thing, I guess, was the reception and Nintendo trying to try too hard to get EarthBound up and going as a RPG here in the non-Japan areas, such as Australia or America. But as a result, they pushed up their price tag, and as a result, didn't sell very well, and the Plague Rat of Doom became tame, so my little anecdote is over. We got quite a lot of experience there, each, but it didn't really help that Jeff died. Wasn't too concerned about Jeff's level, as he was with Ness. I was more worried about catching Paula and Pooh up than anything. It's probably advisable that I grinded a little bit before I came here, but oh well, it didn't really matter in the end. Because that was basically the last PSI freeze I could have done. I was running very quickly out of PP there, so that was a good thing to happen, and us not to die. And if we come through here, this is the Your Sanctuary location behind the department store or Monotoli building, I can't remember where it is, that we couldn't access previously, and we sort of found out about it, and, you know, maybe it would have been useful to us later, but now it is relevant to us now. This has this little flashback about him being a baby. We get Your Sanctuary location number 5. Get the carrot key as well. That will be the thing that gets us into Your Sanctuary location number 6, which is where we're going to be going next time. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys then. Good night, everyone.